glitter of jets in an open sky, a streak of gray, and a cheerful...
A loop, a whirl, and a vertical climb, and once again you'll know it's time for the adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and friends.
Starring that supersonic speedster, Rocket J. Squirrel, with his pal Bullwinkle the Moose, and a host of others.
Hurry, Bullwinkle! The show's about to start!
I'm coming as fast as I can.
Wave to the people!
Yay!
Now what are you doing?
Signing autographs. Let's see. John Smith.
But your name is Bullwinkle!
I know, but that's hard to spell.
We're gonna have a lot of fun! Come on and join us!
Sure, there's always room for one more.
Our story opens today in a really ugly building in the really dreadful little country of Moosylvania, where the Supreme Council is faced with a serious problem.
Gentlemen, the Supreme Council is faced with a serious problem.
We already heard that, Anatole. Go on.
Yes, fearless leader. Well, it seems that our balance of payments analysis shows a marked trend toward deficiency prorating of reserves with a corresponding shift in debit allotment of fiduciaries and soft inventory assets.
Translation?
We're broke.
Broke. But last Tuesday, the treasurer said we had 80 million pazulas.
Ah, but last Tuesday we also had a treasurer.
You mean?
Yes, fearless leader. He took the 80 million and skipped the country.
Oh, that makes me so mad. I'm furious.
About the treasurer stealing the treasury?
No, about I didn't think of it first.
Well, that's how the check bounces, fearless leader.
This problem calls for special care, a high order of intelligence, extreme subtlety and finesse, a brilliant strategy.
And so?
I'll handle it myself. Achtung! Dismissed! Those fools! Little do they know the answer lies just behind this door. And here it is. Moosylvania's answer to Bernard Baruch, the advisor back.
Yes, there on a park bench sat a large black box with a number of flashing lights and a Hamburg hat on top. A Moosylvanian mechanical brain.
Tell me, dear old box, where can we find the money?
The machine whirred and clicked and suddenly deposited a small slip of paper in Fearless Leader's hand.
The United States? But how do we get it? Moosylvania, of course. Oh, Advisor Vac, what would I do without you? Drop dead?
And in a little while, Fearless Leader was closeted with that double-dyed villain, that prince of no-goods, that Schlemiel.
Say the name.
Boris Badenov.
Badenov, you know why I've called you in on this job?
Because I'm trustworthy, loyal, brave, and efficient.
No, because you work cheap.
That too.
Badenov, do you know anything about Moosylvania?
Sure. My uncle came down with a bad case from it just last year.
No, you nitwit. Moosylvania is a spot on the globe.
That's what my uncle came down with, spots on the globe.
Badenov, I want you to watch this television program featuring the moose and the squirrel.
What I do? I didn't do nothing. What I do?
Quiet.
And here on the soggy shores of Moosylvania, we find our heroes Rocky the Flying Squirrel and Bullwinkle Moose.
Boy, what a terrible place.
Only too true. Moosylvania is the wettest, soggiest, dreariest place on earth.
You forgot useless.
Useless, too. Situated directly between the United States and Canada, Moosylvania has the distinction of being constantly fought over by both countries. The U.S. insists it's part of Canada, and Canada insists it's part of the U.S.
But why do we come here on our vacation?
'Cause after 2 weeks in Moosylvania, any place else in the world seems like heaven.
Well, how does Fearless Leader plan to use Moosylvania to get money from the United States? And how does Boris fit into all this? And what will Advisovac say next? Oh, stop asking questions, loudmouth. the episode's over. Gee, so it is.
Junior, what are you doing?
I just chopped down this old tree, Dad.
Yeah, I noticed that, but why?
'Cause my girl and I have broken up.
That is no reason to chop down a tree.
Well, you see, I carved our initials on this tree last Valentine's Day, and I don't want to have to look at 'em anymore.
How do you know she won't come back? Remember the old saying, he who loses faith loses all?
How did you know my girl's name was Faith?
I didn't, but I do know a fable that would help you to face the facts a little more clearly. It's called The French Poodle and the Alley Cat. Years ago, not very far from here, there stood a tiny village named Barrel City. The reason it was called Barrel City was because clothes not having been invented yet, its citizens wore barrel.
My, that's a stunning barrel. Cracker or lard? Pickle. My, it is a dilly.
Wearing barrels had its disadvantages, however. Not only was it difficult sitting down, but everyone's barrel looked alike. That is, until a French poodle, out to seek his fortune, opened a paint shop.
I will paint my way to the pinnacle of success.
Well, sir, that started a fad. By the end of the week, everyone in Barrel City was sporting a different colored barrel, painted by the French poodle, who in turn became the fashion leader of the community.
Here, mesdames et messieurs, we have my latest creation. A polka-dot barrel with matching holes and a cerise ribbon draped around the slats. Breathtaking, n'est-ce pas?
Both the poodle and his shop continued to prosper until one fine day, a seedy-looking alley cat wandered into Barrel City and had the misfortune to pass beneath a window ledge upon which rested a flower pot containing one petunia.
Look at that stunning hat.
Word spread like wildfire throughout the city that a new style of headgear had been created. The cat, quick to seize the opportunity, bought all the flower pots in town and rented a dilapidated rundown shack that happened to be right next door to the poodle's barrel shop.
Bonjour, Mademoiselle Goose.
Bonjour to you.
I suppose you're in the market for a new barrel.
Quite the contrary. The new rage is flower pot hats.
If this keeps up, I will be the Rupp-Bankted.
That night, under the cover of darkness, the poodle, carrying a can of gunpowder, stole into the alley cat's hat shack. Striking a match, he lit the fuse.
That should take care of him.
But with the dawn came the sad realization that a slight faux pas had been committed, for instead of blowing up the cat shop, he had blown up his own.
Are you having a fire sale this week?
You little stinker, you are the cause of all this. But let the bygones be the bygones. Therefore, I would like to cement our friendship.
That's okay by me.
Bon. Now, in case you did not know, you have become quite famous, and people who are famous put their footprints in cement. Step into this bucket.
The cat did, and the cement hardened fast.
Tell me this. Can you swim?
Oh, sure.
With a bucket full of cement on your feet?
Oh, no.
That is all I want to know.
Wasting no further time, he dragged the helpless cat to the riverbank and pushed him in.
Au revoir!
So I got a little bad news for you, Poodle. That river's been dry for years.
Calamity followed calamity, for the townsfolk had seen the cat clomping along in his bucket full of cement, and this too caused a sensation. 2 days later, everyone was wearing this new type of shoe.
That does it. I might just as well kill myself.
But he didn't have to, for the townsfolk suddenly decided to hold a fashion contest, and the one who came up with the most ingenious design would get a contract that would set him up for life.
Good luck, Poodle.
This is my last chance.
The poodle worked feverishly and by morning had devised a new type of summer dress, which was in reality a flat tire with a moldy shower curtain hanging from it. But the alley cat was equal to the occasion, for he had created a hat consisting of a saddle studded with horse chestnuts. The poodle took one look, gasped,
Gasp!
and knew he'd run a poor second. But there was still time to act, for if he could ruin the hat before the judge saw it, he might still be victorious. There on a long banquet table sat a large vat of beef stew. It didn't sit there long. Well, sir, you'd never believe what happened. That cat still believed that his creation, even covered with beef stew, was still a winner. And he was right.
Some fable, Pop.
Well, I think it does prove that he who loses faith loses everything.
It also proves something else.
What?
If the stew fits, wear it.
Eeny, meeny, chilly beany, the spirits are about to speak.
Are they friendly spirits?
Friendly? Just listen.
And now, here's that man with helpful hints for everyone in the land, Mr. Know-It-All.
Hello there, hinterlanders everywhere. Today we take up the problem of how to become a successful member of the U.S. Peace Corps. When you are sent into primitive country to help your fellow man, the first important thing is to find a fellow man. Then show them that your country has a new approach. The people back home really care. Offer them beads and trinkets. Primitive peoples like this appreciate that kind of thing.
Fake, 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 fake.
If, however, you find their state of industrial or scientific development farther along than you had supposed, the Peace Corps workers should offer assistance by showing the foreign friend how to repair or improve whatever devices they have. Kindly, brother, I have fixed your machine, so it is quieter now. Courtesy, U.S. Peace Corps! The next most important thing is to work along with them. That nothing too difficult for them is too difficult for you. And there you have it. The end product inspired by cooperation, friendship, and brotherhood.
Gosh, Mr. Know-It-All, it looks to me like you've just inspired this friendly friend from another land to build a rocket ship.
Yeah, happens every time.
Is it for defense?
No.
Space travel?
No.
Then what?
It's their way of getting me out of the country faster.
Hello again, Peabody and Sherman here, but not for long. We are just about to leave for Cambridge, England.
And what's the year, Mr. Peabody?
1686, Sherman, where we shall meet that eminent mathematician and experimental philosopher, the man who proved the law of gravity with the falling of a falling apple, Sir Isaac Newton. The Wayback Machine responded beautifully, depositing Sherman and me at the base of an English apple tree. Sure enough, there was Sir Isaac Newton.
I'm ruined. It's the end of everything for me.
Something wrong, Mr. Newton?
Yes, it's my theory on gravity. It won't work.
Of course it will. You simply take an apple from the tree, toss it into the air, and it will fall.
Would you care to wager?
By the tone of his voice, I knew he had attempted what I had just prescribed, but I insisted he try again.
Very well. I have the apple, correct?
Correct.
I toss it in the air thusly, correct?
Correct. And now it'll fall to the ground, correct?
Incorrect. Oh.
Strange as it sounds, the apple remained in midair.
But that's impossible. Whatever goes up must come down. Everybody knows that.
Quite. You know it, and I know it, but those ruddy apples don't seem to know it.
I assure you there is a plausible explanation for everything. Observe. Plucking the apple from the air, I neatly sliced it open to examine the interior. Just as I suspected. A rare species of fluttering fruit fly.
I'm afraid it's become quite clear that I shall never be able to prove the law of gravity with a falling apple if those apples won't fall.
May I suggest you simply find another source of apples?
I said, champion idea. Why didn't I think of it?
Going into town, we managed to locate the local fruit peddler.
One apple, please.
Hey, how about a nice banana?
No, thank you. An apple, please.
Maybe you like a good marshmallow.
What have you got against apples?
Nothing, except I don't got no apples.
Well, why didn't you say so?
You didn't ask me.
All right, then give me a banana. I guess it'll fall as well as a blooming apple will.
Gosh, he can't do that. History will be all wrong if he proves the law of gravity with a banana.
Don't worry, Sherman. If he tosses the banana into the air from where he is standing, I am certain it will not come down.
I hereby prove that what goes up must come down by tossing this banana into the air. Oh, Jove, it didn't come down. Don't tell me I've proved there is no gravity.
No, Sir Isaac, only that monkeys like bananas.
Good heavens, it is a monkey.
Fate seemed to be working against Sir Isaac, and needless to say, he was becoming quite discouraged.
It's no use, gentlemen. There's simply no place else to find an apple.
You're mistaken, Sir Isaac. I am certain that you can obtain an apple right across the street.
The schoolhouse, of course. There's always an apple for the teacher in a schoolhouse.
Sir Isaac dashed into PS32 and explained his plight to the teacher, who, of course, was only too happy to give him her apple for such a worthy cause. With success in sight, Newton happily ran from the school, only to have misfortune overtake him once more. The apple rolled from his hand with such force that it rolled for 2 blocks and directly into the Cambridge Polo Grounds, where it was quite naturally mistaken for the ball by one of the players. The apple was driven through the goalposts for the winning point, I might add, hit a spectator squarely on the head, flew high into the air where it came to rest, of all places, on top of a very high flagpole.
That did it. This is one of those things you just can't fight.
Oh, one moment, sir. I feel that at last you can prove your law of gravity with no further ado.
Not with that apple, I can't. I could never climb way up there to get it.
You don't have to. Taking Sir Isaac, I quickly positioned him directly beneath that flagpole. Then a glance at my watch told me my timing was perfect.
But I don't understand. How can...
Hold perfectly still, sir. You will know in exactly 4 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, now. As usual, my calculations were absolutely accurate. On the nearby Tower of London, the sunset gun was fired. That slight vibration shook the apple from its perch, and it fell, hitting Sir Isaac so that he was certain to notice, so that at last he was able to prove his theory.
Boy, sometimes it's sure hard for famous people to get famous.
That's right, Sherman. Isaac Newton's brother Figby had his troubles before he became famous, too.
Isaac Newton's brother Figby? What's he famous for?
Oh, he invented a cookie.
Oh, Mr. Peabody, you don't mean...
I certainly do. Figby Newton was the inventor of the Fig Newton.
Last time, you remember, the Advisovac told fearless leader that he could replenish the Potsylvanian treasury by getting money from the United States. And how? The magic word was Moosylvania.
Moosylvania? That's a pest hole, fearless leader. Send me to Devil's Island. Send me to Siberia. Send me to Wilkes-Barre. But not Moosylvania.
Now, Badenov, don't lose your head.
I'm not losing my head.
You will if you don't go to Moosylvania.
What time leaves the next submarine?
And so it was that just a few days later, as Rocky and Bullwinkle were fishing and slapping mosquitoes off the shoreline of Moosylvania, they were hailed by a cheery voice.
Hello, suckers.
What was that?
I said hello, strangers.
Sounded different the first time.
My, what a magnificent catastrophe you got there. Is it yours?
Moosylvania? You betcha, mister. Been in the family for years.
Pity you don't do something with it.
Such as?
Advertise. You could make Moosylvania the Riviera of the swamps, and I could help you.
Who are you, mister?
Just the head of the biggest advertising agency in all northern Canada is whom.
What advertising agency is that?
Dancer, Prancer, Blitzen, and Fink.
Yeah, I've heard of those first 3 fellers. But who's Fink?
I'm Fink.
You could say that again, darling.
You mean you could really do something with Moosylvania?
Could I? Body boy, I got plans you wouldn't believe it. Sign here.
Right.
Now, wait. What's all this fine print?
Give me that. You want to ruin your sweet little eyes? Now, first thing you do is go ashore on Moosylvania while we taking your picture.
Cajoled by Boris, our friends went ashore while he stayed on his submarine yacht and focused a camera on them.
Fine. Now the next thing we're doing is taking this big rock and sink your boat.
Hey, wait a minute. Now we're marooned in Moosylvania.
See how it all works out? Well, bye now.
But I thought you were going to make Moosylvania famous.
Just you wait.
And for once in his life, Boris was as good as his word.
Better even.
For he spread the word that Rocky and Bullwinkle were marooned and in need of help.
Extra! Extra!
Of course, the nation sprang into emergency action at once. With typical American foresight, 14 tons of surplus wheat germ was rushed by freight car to the swampy area, where it promptly sank from sight. Undaunted, the government began to airlift supplies into Moosylvania. In less than a week, the tiny island was heaped with all kinds of vital emergency rations.
Let's see. Here's 2,000 gallons of maple syrup,
800 surplus goldfish bowls,
26 obsolete missiles.
32 million units of something.
What?
I don't know. The name got scratched off.
Well, whatever it is, we sure got plenty of it.
Hey, here's a coupon from Dr. Kildare. Good for an emergency appendix operation.
How thoughty.
Yeah, everybody's sure been nice. There's just one thing wrong, Bullwinkle.
Just one? That's a refreshing change. What is it?
Oh, this stuff is pretty heavy.
And?
I'm afraid the whole island of Moosylvania's sinking.
Yes, our friends were up to their knees in trouble.
And water.
Well, let's look on the bright side.
What's that?
The mosquitoes can't bite our ankles anymore.
Well, are we about to see our whole story go down the drain? Don't miss our next episode when we'll hear Rocky say...
Well, it looks as if our time has just about run out.
Mine must be a little slow.
You got the credits, Bullwinkle?
All on this itty-bitty card. Oop.
We're late again, Bullwinkle.
Right.
Bye now. See you next time.